Well, hello, folks. Bill O'Leary here, coming to you in this video. And the topic I'm going to address is what happens to my debts after I pass away. So you're going to learn three things in this video. Number one, what generally happens to a debt that's left by a deceased person after they die. Number two, whether a spouse can be on the hook for their deceased spouse's debts. And number three, the types of debts that actually an heir can be stuck with. Quick introduction again. My name is Bill O'Leary. I'm an estate planning attorney, elder law, probate, trusts, and that sort of thing. And my firm is Legacy Planning Law Group in Jacksonville, Florida. So let's dive right in. So when someone dies with a debt, look, the debt, it just doesn't go away. So normally that deceased person's estate is going to be responsible for paying off the unpaid debt. So when the person dies, basically the debt attaches to the assets of the estate. Well, what if there isn't any money or property in the estate or not enough to pay off the debt? Well, then generally the debt is not paid or may be paid at some reduced amount. Now, let's say that you're married and your spouse passes away. Not to worry, you're generally not responsible for the debt either, unless it's a shared debt. And I'm going to get to that in just a minute. So there actually are some kinds of debts that can be passed on, can attach to an heir, can be inherited, if you will. And here are some. One, if you happen to have co-signed with a deceased family member, let's say co-signed on let's say a loan or some sort of bill, then you're going to be on the hook. The bottom line is don't co-sign for anything if you can help it, because co-signing makes you liable for that other person's debt, including when they die. So let's say that you co-sign for a friend's loan, or let's say a medical bill, and you agree by co-signing to make the payments if that person is no longer able to do so. Well, when they die, they obviously are no longer able to make the payments, which leaves you responsible for cleaning up the financial mess. So don't do that. Secondly, if you happen to live in a community property state, so some of our states are known as community property states. So if you lived in states like Arizona, California, Idaho, Nevada, Louisiana, Texas, New Mexico, and the state of Washington, and Wisconsin is also in that grouping, then in those states, the surviving spouse is legally responsible for any debt that the deceased spouse took on during the marriage, including private student loans, by the way, and whether the surviving spouse agreed to it or not, they're on the hook. Community property. Another situation is if you happen to live in a state that has what's known as a filial responsibility law. So some states have what are known as filial responsibility laws, meaning that the children of a deceased parent who, let's say, was in a nursing home, that the kids are on the hook for those long-term care costs that were not paid, hospital bills, nursing home bills, and the like. Now, while these filial responsibility laws are not enforced that often, you need to be aware of them, and you don't want to risk being unprepared if you find yourself in that situation. Another situation, let's say that you were a joint account holder with, let's say, a deceased family member on a credit card. So you were jointly on the credit card together. If there is a joint account owner associated with that credit card, that person is responsible for keeping up with the payments and any debt that may be associated with the card. And by the way, if there's not enough money in the estate to cover the balance, what happens? Well, that's just like any other debt that may exist at death. If there are not enough assets in the estate, usually the creditor is just not going to get paid. And in a situation with the credit cards, it happens all the time. They end up writing off the debt and walking away from it. Another situation, you were on a mortgage with a deceased person. If someone dies owning a home with a mortgage, any co-owners of the home, as well as anybody inheriting the home, they're responsible for the remaining mortgage. Now, the good news is that at least for some period of time, that the loan is not going to be called, usually by the bank. The bank will work with the heir that's inheriting the home. And as long as sort of the monthly payments are being made, some time will be given to either assume the loan, assuming that the heir now qualifies, or to sell the home and pay off the mortgage. Now, similar to a mortgage on a home, if you were on a car loan with a deceased person, again, as with any other kind of secure debt, which a mortgage and a car loan are, the lender has the ability in the case of a car to repossess the car if there's not enough money in the estate to pay off the loan. So usually what happens is the person who inherits the car, similar to inheriting a home subject to a mortgage, the inheritor continues making payments on the loan until they either pay it off or they sell the car. Now, what do you do if you get contacted by a debt collector relating to a debt that a deceased loved one had? What can you do? Number one, by the way, you're more in the driver's seat than you think. Number one, get the details of the debt in writing. And so if you make that request and the debt collector knows that you're a surviving heir, but they still refuse to give you details about the debt, guess what? It might be a scam. Secondly, you can dispute the debt. Yes, you can. If you believe that the debt is not properly owed, or maybe that it's not yours to pay, you can and should dispute it. 3, set boundaries on how the debt collector can contact you. So you can tell the debt collector, hey, don't contact me at certain times or at certain places, or maybe only in a certain way. You can send an email, but don't call, and that sort of thing. Set boundaries. And by the way, if you don't want to hear from the debt collector again, simply say, stop, don't contact me again. Finally, talk to a lawyer. A lawyer can help you figure out if you're responsible for paying that debt. And if you are, the lawyer can help you understand what protections may be available to you, sort of exemptions under the law that can benefit you. So again, talk to a lawyer. They often are a great buffer dealing with these debt collectors. So if you'd like to know a little bit more about what happens to your debts after you pass away and maybe how we can help, we would encourage you to reach out and take that initial first step by scheduling a free discovery phone call, as we would like to call it. So we discover the situation, and then you discover whether it's something we can help you with. And it's a really easy step to make. Just go ahead and click on the link at the bottom of this video, and it takes you right to our booking calendar. Pick the day and time that works for you, and we'll jump on the call. If you have enjoyed this video, we ask that you like it. And if you haven't already done so, more and more people are doing so, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, Legacy Planning Law Group. So this is Bill O'Leary signing off for now. Go make it a great day and a better world